Megiri Haruka faced off against her masked opponent at an underground eclipse tournament. The two exchanged blows before stomping at each end of the arena to activate their respective meteors. Haruka lunged forward for one last strike. However, her opponent cut her down as she lay on the floor. Haruka apologizes to Ayato. At the end of the century, a disaster known as the Inverting Us struck the Earth country's power diminished and bringing the rise of the Integrated Enterprise Foundation. The Integrated Enterprise Foundation created Asteris, each establishing a symbol there in Virginia, also gave birth to a Genestella, humans with enhanced physical abilities. While walking along a path within Seidooukan Academy, Ayato caught a pink handkerchief. Seeing that it came from a room above, Ayato jumped onto the windowsill, only to find two lists, rice field and her underwear. Sounds like a lucky fella to me. Julius challenged him to a duel to humiliate him, but to our surprise, Ayato easily managed to defeat her. Later, Ayato meets Claudia Enfield, the student council president who guides him about the academy and its rules. She explains the 6 Asteris schools participating in the annual Festa fighting tournaments and how their school performance has been declining over recent years. Upon asking them to tell us about his purpose of transferring to the school to find out the whereabouts of his missing sister named Ahmed Juri, Claudia shows him the remaining files about Haruka, and the powerful weapon called Server Esta outside Ulyss is again challenged by one of the persistent guys at the academy. She easily defeats him again, while claiming that she will be the one to win all 3 upcoming Festus, munched way out of surprise. In a dream flashback, Ayato remembers his talk with his sister, who tells him about the power sealed within him that will only be unchained when the outer was found his desired calling. In the morning, Ayato has a friendly chat with Julius and other fellow students, and while talking, Ayato asks Julius why she's bent on participating in Festus, despite being a princess of a country, to which she bluntly replies that her country needs money. That's why she's participating in Festus, to save her country from the economic crisis. Ayato was shocked to find that his childhood friend saw Semia, so he is his classmate and rival of Julius. Claudia suddenly arrives, surprising Ayato, and says she would be the most qualified as she had been attending Seidooukan before Sega, and even Julius arrived. She returns to business and forming an auto that is Locke's weapon selection and compatibility test. Would be the day after and giving him documents to sign inside the testing room. Ayato witnesses the powerful serve. There is the blade and tries to wield it, but it begins attacking him. Much to everyone's surprise, with a bit of a trick, Ayato manages to take control of it with a 99% compatibility rate, which is quite rare. Later in the evening, Ayato infiltrates the girls' dormitory once again, this time specifically landing on Claudia's balcony to meet her at her request. Claudia herself is in the shower and a flashback is shown of Claudia bandaging Ayato's burned hand and requesting a favor from them. Ayato enters a room and is shocked when Claudia steps out of the bathroom and nothing but a bathrobe smiling. At first, Claudia teases out a bit, saying he should pay more attention to her, causing Ayato to be embarrassed back to business. She tells him about the upcoming Phoenix Festa and how some mysterious men have attacked their students, causing them to withdraw from the event. She requests him to remain bound to lose his side till the event, as she is likely to be targeted, to which Ayato somehow agrees. The next day, Julius takes Ayato on a tour of the city, and surprisingly, Jewel has enjoyed spending this time with Ayato despite being its in Delray. Their lunch is interrupted by Lester, who again demands a duel with Julius. But Ayato tells him not to cause any fuss here, causing Lester to attack him. But Ayato remains standing there with a firm resolve. Eventually, Lester leaves at the request of his subordinate, shouting to not go without him. In the forest, rule is fight several mysterious men, but a man sneaks behind her and attacks her with a charged arrow. Fortunately, Ayato steps in to save her. Later, Julius invites Ayato into her home and bluntly asks him to remove his clothes. Upon seeing Ayato's hesitation to elicit, gets embarrassed and says she only wants to repair his bruised clothes. Drill is telling him about her childhood life, where a bunch of kids in the slums saved her and became her friends, and she's working hard to raise money for the orphanage that takes care of her friends from the slums. Later, Julius receives a letter threatening to hurt Ayato and hurries to confront the adversary. Upon learning about it, Ayato makes his resolve and chases after Julius reaches the mentioned place in the letter and meets the offender, who turns out to be one of Lester's subordinates named Silas Norman, who has joined hands with other academies to prevent candidates from joining the Phoenix Festa. He calls out Lester and asks him to join as well, but he refuses to take part in such underhanded tactics and attacks him. However, Norman summoned some shady robots that countered Lester's attack. The robots turned out to be quite powerful and sturdy, much to Lester's surprise. Eventually, Lester and Julius are outnumbered, and just when things are about to get dangerous, Ayato arrives and saves Julie from a deadly attack. In a rage, Norman directs all of his robots toward an Autobuddy and brilliantly manages to destroy most of them in a single go. By using Server Esta in a pure mech anime fashion, Norman uses his trump card, which is a giant powerful robot with various weapons at its disposal. Ayato analyzes its weak points and dashes to end this ridiculous game. In an instant, Norman's most powerful robot is destroyed. Much to his dismay, out of moves, he tries to escape using a flying robot, but with Julius's help, Ayato manages to destroy the robot, causing Norman to fall. Later, Julius thanks Ayato for doing so much for her, which she replies that he wants to help her out with his own decision. Therefore, Julius just entrusts her safety to him. All of these bold claims ended up making duelists embarrassed in the end. On the other hand, Claudia captures Norman by using her dual Lux weapon. A few days later, Claudia attends a joint meeting of student council presidents from different academies to discuss the collaboration in development a new Lux weapon. On the other hand, Ayato participates in a practice session with duelists. Both of them display their powerful moves, but like always, Ayato prevails. They are suddenly interrupted by the arrival of Claudia and some girls from another academy visiting for the scheduled collaboration. One of the girls, named Nesta, reveals herself to be the engineer behind the dolls that Autofot Man destroyed, much to everyone's surprise. Later, out of witnesses, a small girl who is about to get slapped by a man rushes to save her. The man turned out to be the uncle of the girl, named Keating Toto. But still, Ayato couldn't accept such behavior towards the girl, so we told them not to treat her this way. Kitten's uncle proposed the duel. If Jada beats Kitten, he will not be hard on her, with no option left out who accepts the duel, and a fight breaks out between them. While fighting, Ayato learns that the kitten is from a prestigious family skilled in sword fighting, and despite her apparent small body, she holds massive power and techniques, and Ayato barely manages to dodge her incoming attacks, while she seems to avoid his strikes easily. With his strength reaching the limit out, I decided to go all in for a strike before he could realize a kid, and destroyed his badge and emerged as the winner of this dual jeweler school downto for recklessly participating in a duel, while telling him that Keaton is their school's top-ranked student out of recoveries in the infirmary office. While Julius enters and tells him that she would have done the same thing if she had seen such torture, causing Ayato to take a breath of relief. Later, Ayato visits Claudia to take the student back. She tells him about Karan's ankle, who was desperate to join the Academy executive panel. Amidst this talk, Claudia reveals that her own mother is also an executive, much way out of surprise. On his way back to the dorm, Ayato comes across to Ewan again, who is here to thank him earlier for his help. She tells him about her imprisoned father, and she's working hard to win the upcoming Festus, to free him here, to express her desire to train with a fellow. But she can't just train with anyone due to restrictions. A lot of promises are that you will train with her, causing Kieran to be happy and a bit embarrassed. Later, Drillus inquires Ayato about his training sessions with Kid, and while making a jealous face, but Ayato assures her that he will only be Julius's partner. On one of the training days, some monsters attack Data. When Kieran first Ayato destroys them with his sword moves through his shock. The monsters ended up reviving again and again until Kid and finally destroyed their core. Yada won Kid and plummeted through a hole in the earth that was made by the monsters' fireball blasts. Angry Violet challenges San to a duel after checking that Sei is still unranked at Seidooukan Academy. Sei agrees and instantly wins the duel by knocking out Violet with a single shot. After the duel, Shia and Kieran chat. Sana tells Karen that her attitude allows anyone to abuse her, and she needs to work on it, and change to an ask Sam why she picked her as a partner. Shia answered with her reasons, and also mentioned that she saw similarities between Karan and Giotto, which was one of the main reasons the Karan and Sei pair are again doing the team practice. But this time, their coordination and teamwork have improved, resulting in them beating an Ayato and Julius's team score in practice. Ayato praises this improvement and tells Julius they must also buck up and improve. Zurich EPOR Wine and Coffee Moto Corona are walking at B or Wolf Black Institute's discipline rooms. They are visited by Irene, are his eyes. Dirk told her to join the Phoenix Festa in order to destroy Aguirre Ando. When questioned as to why he was targeted, Dirk asked Corona to show Surf Arrestor. He informed Irene that the Ogre Lux would be a hindrance to them before agreeing to participate. She asked if her younger sister was not touched. Irene was then freed from her electronic handcuffs on Megiri Auto Angeles Reese Field, where at the opening ceremony at the Phoenix Festa, the loud cheer amazed the Automod. With Masa went to the podium to give the opening remarks. He introduced himself as the chairman of the Festa steering committee, and Jada was surprised that how young he was. Duelist told him that Mesa is an alumni of Seidooukan Academy and won the Phoenix Festa. In my speech, he announced that several rules have changed for this year's Phoenix Festa. The bans on certain weapons have been lifted, specifically autonomous machines. 2 of the puppets were briefly shown, and their creators. After the speech, some of the presidents of each school were shown. Derek seems to be dissatisfied with it. On the other hand, Ernest Fairclough and Claudia Onfield were smiling at Auto Angeles having their first match against students from Galahad Worth, and Auto makes a flashy entrance and instantly claims the victory. On the other hand, the new advanced autonomous robots of Ernest and Camilo Pareto are featured that instantly take out their opponents from rebuilt Black Academy at the Pro-Kind Dome. Santa's and Kittens match began. One of the commentators mistakenly assumed that Sam was the former rank until her partner corrected her. The parent chose their opponents, and the match began. Kitten quickly defeated her opponent, then turned to check on her partner. To everyone's surprise, Sei used her Type 34 heavy wave cannon arcbenders, modified as a melee weapon, to fight against the other opponent or opponent adapted to her fighting style, but ultimately last against their meteors. On the 5th day, Otto and Julius faced off against the pair from Queen Bale Girls Academy. Since Ayana defeated both opponents last time, Toulouse volunteered to fight them herself. After blocking several attacks, Julius used Prime Rose with a chant. One of her opponents tried blocking them, yet failed when she tripped. Her partner tried to fight Julius, but she got caught, and Julius's semi-serrata and lost back in their room. Julius asked De Otto what he planned on doing. He planned on watching Sega and Kitten's match bin. Julius pointed out that it would be over by the time they got there, suggesting that they eat. He knew of a good place though. Duelists embarrassed offered him the sandwiches that she made. As he ate, she told him they weren't very good. Nevertheless, she was happy when he complimented them. When he asked if she was going to eat, she asked him in a roundabout manner for him to pack her head as he did with the others. Duelist became embarrassed and suggested that they watch a match, surprised when they saw that Lester and Randy were fighting against Priscilla and Irene from Rewolt Block Academy. At the Sirius Dome, Claudia congratulated Aondo on making the main draw, telling him that she had high expectations of them. She went on to try and flirt with him. The recall from Karen allowed him to get out of the situation. Do you remember reporting that Sam was missing and asking him to help look for her? Claudia pouted, but immediately prioritized finding Sam or her own time. The next day, Otto told Julius that Priscilla invited them for dinner to thank him for saving her earlier from a group of pursuers. She was apprehensive of it because Irene and Priscilla were their next opponents, but nonetheless decided to go along with them. Priscilla welcomed them and served them handmade food during the meal. While Priscilla was busy, Irene revealed that they had been bought by Dirk, needing a large amount of money to pay off their debt. Their entrance to Festa was restricted, and any money couldn't be used to pay off their debt. Duelist wondered what her goal was, prompting her to reveal that she was ordered to crush Aondo. Irene explained that Dirk feared the Surf Arrestor, most likely because he had seen its previous user fight a lot, to realize that the previous user was Haruka and thought about it. Then thanks for the information. As they finished talking, Priscilla served everyone her pie. After they finished, Priscilla apologized the way Otto and Dualism about everything. While she didn't like fighting, Irene was fighting for Priscilla, and she couldn't escape that fact. On Seidooukan Academy, Aondo asked Astralis about the weapon grab-a-sheath wielded by Irene. She asked if he sympathized with her, telling him to be concerned about their match instead. The next day, Otto and Julie prepare for their match against Irene and Priscilla, although Otto has his doubts about this match's outcome. Duelists assured him that they will win whatever the situation. Iben sucked her sister's blood as her Lux weapon, called to grab a sheath, requires blood to unleash its full power. At the dorm of the match starts, and like always, an Otto makes a flashy entry just to cover the fact that chains restrain his power. And Otto decided to go straight for Aaron's weapon, while Julius continued to back him up with her fire spells. But Irene turned out to be too powerful, as her weapon's ability to manipulate gravity is quite troublesome. After several strikes, Otto Angeles decides to go for a large-scale combined attack, and for that purpose Otto must deal with Irene alone for some time. Well, Julius can charge up his ultimate fire spell. They successfully manage to lower Irene into the trap. All Julius activates is the large-scale spell that overlaps Irene with fire. However, Gravis's sheath takes control of Irene and drives her crazy enough to attack her own sister. Otto couldn't allow this tragedy to happen and activated his inner sealed power that gave Serve a rest to a new power to destroy Gravis's sheath. Ayato and Dualism merged the victors of this match. However, an Otto's secret about his restricted power was leaked, and presidents of other academies decided to use this fact to their advantage afterward. Ayato rests in the room, and Claudia kidnaps Seiya, and LIS jump on him, while claiming to nurse him back to health. And the post-credit scene, we see a man grinning while saying that his plan will be in action soon. And that's the end of the video. As always, if you liked what you saw, subscribe to the channel. I'll be uploading a lot of videos just like this, so I'll see you at the next one.